Hi, folks. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves started. First of all, thank you very much for being here this evening, everyone. We do appreciate you. Starting off with some unfortunate news, if you're at the Info Center joining us this evening, you're already aware of this. But as David, our secretary, went in tonight, we found that apparently someone broke in or got into the Info Center and stole our TV and our webcam. So we are joining the Info Center tonight from David's laptop. Thank you very much, David. We are not sure how it happened. We're obviously going to try to look a little further into it. But until we can figure out how we'll be replacing those items, attending at the Info Center might look a little different. So very unfortunate to share, and hopefully we can figure out what happened. But we were certainly disappointed by that this evening. Again, thank you for being here. I'm going to turn the floor over to our treasurer, Dan, here in just a moment. Just a reminder, if you're joining us for the first time, we just ask that if you're attending virtually, you keep yourself muted unless you're presenting or asking a question, just so we can make sure there's no feedback. But otherwise, we encourage everyone to join in the conversation, ask questions, and participate. So, Dan, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Jess. All right, let me share my screen here. Okay. Uh, okay, can anybody tell me if they can see that screen?
Yep, you're good.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right, thank you. All right, so this month balance sheet, I think overall not a big change since last month. We're sitting around 24,000 total between 13 the checking and 10 grand the savings. And then we still have 115 petty cash. And then maybe at the end of this year, we might end up starting. I've been thinking about trying to see if we should start writing off some of these old receivables from like 2018 that or we're not going to get the money for those. Um, on the income statement side, overall, kind of the big thing I always look at is we are still in the positive year to date, positive just shy or just shy of $1,800, which I think is a little bit better than last year. So we got 3 more months, or sorry, 2 more months. So I think we might end out this year in the positive. So I think last year we were down around 1,000. I think this year we just a little bit positive. Had a little bit of a residential income come in, and then some of the yard sale and last minute, I think, invoices from the festival from like the food truck vendors. And then besides that, our normal everyday expenses. So, but yeah, besides that, no real major glaring issues. Any questions from anybody? We'll just have to figure out exactly how we're going to get a new TV and camera. Camera is probably the most expensive thing. I was taken. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Dan. Yeah, the TV actually had been donated, and we did pay for the camera, so that is unfortunate, since we have not had it very long. Yeah, we will certainly be discussing that. Okay, moving on here, we'll talk about board elections next. So we have a total of 4 board seats that are for election, actually: vice president, treasurer, secretary for a 1-year term, just to get us kind of on the new schedule from the board. I'm sorry, the bylaws changes we had last year, and then member at large, which is also always a 1-year term. We only have 2 candidates running. So we have David running for 1 more year as secretary until that term ends at the end of next year. And we have Eric May running for the 1-year member at large term. We have no candidates for treasurer or for vice president. So as of January 1st, those seats will technically be vacant, and members can be nominated to fill those roles. The way that procedure will work is as long as someone completes the nomination form at least 14 days before the next normal monthly meeting, they can be announced as a candidate during the meeting, and then voting can proceed the next month. So hopefully we'll have some folks interested in nominating themselves for either of those roles. For board elections, you can actually go ahead and vote now if you're ready to do so. These are obviously both candidates who are running unopposed, but we do like to ask everyone to vote. So if you're at the Info Center, you can feel free to just scan the QR code there that will take you to the little mini site with ballots. And then, of course, I'm pasting that in chat for folks who are attending virtually. But while everyone does that, David, if you'd like to just take a moment and maybe reintroduce yourself for anyone that doesn't know you. And then Eric May is joining us virtually, and Eric will have you introduce yourself as well.
Hi there. Yeah, so I'm running for secretary again. I've been secretary for, what is it, just 2 years. I think. And then I was member at large for 2 years prior to that.
Yep.
And most of the duties of the secretary are minutes for the meetings, agendas for the meetings, some other various things, keeping an eye on the info center, more or less. Obviously not every day. Um, but yeah, so hopefully I'll get the chance to do that for another year.
Thank you very much, David. And Eric, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, good evening, everybody. First, I just want to say I'm sorry that I'm not there in person. I came down with what I'm hoping is not COVID. I think it's not COVID on Monday. I'm feeling a lot better, but I was throwing up and all that good stuff Monday, so I didn't want to risk getting anybody sick and being responsible for wiping out the MVA here. But just a little bit about myself because I'm probably a newer face. I've been getting my wife and I live here in Marion Village. Been getting a little bit more and more involved with just random local community efforts. I work as a poll worker. The election, unfortunately, is due to illness. This past couple of days. I also serve as the vice chair at the Mid Ohio Regional Planning Commission for the Community Advisory Committee. So really, just trying to advocate for more and better transit options, especially down here where we live. And then I also served in the United States Army for 4.5 years, right out of high school. So it's been a long time, I guess, since I was involved in that. The reason I'm running for member at large is just to be honest, just to kind of feel things out. See if I'm if I have the time. Make sure I don't want to say, hey, I want to be president and then not be able to do anything and really hamstring the organization. So I looked at this as a way to kind of get involved, maybe lend some support on some different efforts, get to know everybody, and if things don't work out too well, hey, that's great. No harm, no foul. After a year, you guys can cut me loose or something, and then if things work out great, yeah, hey, I got some good experience, got to know everybody, and hopefully we can work as a team to keep making the place where we live the best place to live, work, play, all that good stuff for here in Columbus. So thanks a lot for your time, and hope to see you around in the neighborhood. And really sorry to hear about the break-in. That's really go figure. It's like everybody's here trying to do the right thing, trying to help out, and of course number one target, right? So that's all I got. Happy to answer any questions or anything like that as well. So
Thank you so much. Yes, member at large is always a great place to start. It's a good place to get your foot in the door, and you always get to kind of pick a passion project as member at large. Brittany this year has been serving as member at large, and she created Village Ventures, and we've had all these really awesome interactions and events with businesses and getting them involved. So it is a great place for getting involved in whatever way you want. Does anyone have any
thanks.
questions for David or for Eric? Okay. In that case, if you haven't voted yet, please do so. Otherwise, let me just check here to see how many votes we have in. Loading. Looks like we have 9 votes in. So just based on the number of people that is here, does anyone need some additional time to vote? I think we're probably good to go. All right. Well, then I'm happy to report that both candidates received a total of 9 votes in support, none opposed, and no abstentions. So congratulations to both David and Eric, who will become David, who will stay for secretary for another year beginning January 1st, and Eric, who will be joining the board as new member at large on January 1st. So thank you very much. And thanks everyone for voting.
Thank you.
All right, move on to our next area here. We'll touch on committee updates. So first and foremost, let me do the easy one, which is social, which is just a reminder that we have our final happy hour of the year tomorrow. It starts at 5:30 p.m. at Club Diversity, which is at 863 South High Street. So I think we have about 4 of those happy hours this year. So if you've not gotten a chance to come out and you'd like to grab one before the end of the year, please do feel free to join us starting at 5:30 tomorrow. Now let's talk about zoning. So in addition to, if you were here previously, you'll know that Tate, who is our zoning chair, has moved to a new neighborhood, so he's no longer able to serve as zoning chair. This is a role that we do need to fill because of the amount of, work that's involved in that. We need to make sure that we find a good fit for the role, but it is such an important role and something that we always appreciate someone filling because this is a great area for people to really let us stay involved in these decisions. So for example, we will actually have a special meeting next month. We do not typically have a meeting in December, but a zoning application did come to us too late to be at this meeting today. It did not meet our deadline. And so we are actually going to have that in December, partially because of the lateness and also because it is a proposal for a development of 425 units, which is obviously a much larger scale than what we typically see. This is over in the area that is being dubbed Steelton, which is in Merion Village. And so that is just an example of why this role as the zoning chair is so important and so valuable, because it does give us that chance to kind of bridge the connect between folks who are developing in the area and the folks who already live here. Open those lines of communication, let us participate in those processes, and just really keep everyone involved in the future of our neighborhood. All of that said, we do have that open role for the zoning chair. That is not an elected position. So if there is anyone interested in serving in that role, you just need to be a member of the association in order to chair that committee. And we would love to hear from you. You can email us at mvaboard@marionvillage.org to let us know that you're interested in doing that. And then we can kind of get you started and get you involved in that process. Tate has also offered to chat with anyone who's interested if they have some questions about what it's really like to serve in that role. So he is happy to talk to you if you'd like to know more before potentially committing. Does anyone have any questions that we might be able to answer about that role or the process? Okay, just wanted to make sure. So keep that in mind. If you know a neighbor that you think might be a good fit for this, please send them our way. We'll definitely be looking to get that role filled as soon as possible. And if you are interested in participating in the discussion about the development I mentioned, please do plan to join us next month. We're going to go ahead and hold that meeting on the first Wednesday at 7 p.m., just like we would a normal monthly meeting to make it easy. Virtual or in-person attendance, although we're not entirely sure what that in-person attendance will look like right now, but we'll work to make sure it is available. So all right, let me move on here to our next area. I can't see everyone. Is there an area commissioner joining us this evening that might like to share any updates? There, I can see you now.
Yes, for those of you who don't know me, it's Justin Soltez. I'm the resident at-large commissioner for the Southside Area Commission. The one update I have is that we are also having elections. There is one contested seat. It is the resident at-large seat. There are two people running for it, and so those elections will be held on Saturday, November 15th from noon to 4 p.m. at the Barrack Recreation Center, which is on Woodrow Avenue in Lincoln Park. Any resident that is 18 years or older of the South Side, which includes Merion Village, can vote in that. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
What date was the election?
Saturday, November 15th.
And Justin, am I correct? Are you running for that seat that is contested?
That is correct, yes.
Would you like an opportunity to introduce yourself as a candidate?
Sure. So just, I have been in this seat for 3 years now. I also chair the Public Services Committee. And so as part of that, one of the things that I've done is create a website for the Public Services Committee that is sort of a central location for all the information about infrastructure projects that are going on. Another thing that we have done is we organized a parks audit over the summer this year. And actually next week we are meeting with the Recreation and Parks Department to sort of go through that and see what improvements can be made.
Fantastic.
And the seat is contested?
The seat is contested.
Oh,
The other contestant is Miss Maudie Grace.
okay. But
Anyone
you're
have
the
any
incumbent.
questions for Justin?
And we have to vote in person for this?
Yes.
Okay.
For those wondering, the Ohio State game that day is at 7 p.m. So you will have plenty of time to cast your ballot well before it's the 15th, so 2 Saturdays from now.
So how do you're going to meet with the Parks Department, how do you, or what did you say, what department were you?
So the Public Service Committee is meeting with the Recreation Parks Department next Wednesday at our regular meeting.
Okay.
Which is Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Parsons Library. If you're interested in that.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, we'll just move on here to the next items on our list, which is just the upcoming community activities and events. So like I said, we've got a happy hour tomorrow, Club Diversity, starting at 5:30 p.m. All are welcome to join that. The next Southside Area Commission meeting is Tuesday, November 18th, starting at 6:30 p.m. Parsons Library, if you're interested in joining their meeting. We of course will have a special meeting in December. I think we had one last year too. So this is becoming a pattern for us. So our special meeting will be Wednesday, December 3rd, beginning at 7 p.m. Again, same format. You're welcome to attend via Zoom or at the info center as long as you don't mind what might be a bit of a unusual process depending on what we can set up for that day. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and so the primary reason for that meeting is of course the zoning item, but we will have typical updates as well for you since we will be meeting. So if you have anything to discuss, you're welcome to join us for that meeting as well. Our winter potluck, which is normally what we do in December instead of having a meeting, is coming up quickly on Friday, December 5th. So just a month away. We'll be hosted at the Hey Hey in the back room, and that is from 6 to 8 p.m. So it's always a really fun time. I will put here in the chat the link to RSVP. If you're at the info center and you'd like to RSVP, you can just go to our website. The link is listed there. But this way we can kind of have an idea of how many folks are going to join us, and we can try to build out a list of what everyone might be bringing. So the Hey Hey Bar will be open as usual, so folks over 21 are of course able to grab a drink from the bar, but this is an event that is for all ages. People bring their kids each year, and it's typically a really fun, cozy event and a great way to see your neighbors before we wrap up on the year. So hope everyone can join us for that. Last but not least, this is a little further off, but just a reminder that we will be doing our annual chili cook-off fundraiser in March. That is the first Saturday in March, which is March 7th. Also, we'll be at the Hey Hey, and that's where we'll raise money for the annual Southside Scholarship, which we'll have some updates for you on that soon. We might be looking at some different ways to make sure that those funds get into the hands of the schools, even if we don't have enough scholarship applicants. That has been a problem in the last few years. So we'll have some more information for you about that after the first of the year. All right, agenda-wise, we are through the agenda. So this is where I would open the floor. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, anything they would like to share, either until our next meeting or before the new year?
I guess it's not technically our last meeting of the year since we'll have the special one and the potluck. But since it's our last regular meeting of the year, I wanted to thank our board members who are rolling off, Dan online for being treasurer, and Brittany, who's here, for having done so much with Village Ventures and being so enthusiastic and energetic. And of course, also Lauren, our vice president for a long time, who she's joining, what is it, the Ohio Wildlife Board or something very exciting like that. So
Yeah,
that's
she
all good.
cares about animals.
Yeah. So thanks to all three of you.
Thank you so much for that. And yes, thank all of you. Brittany, Village Ventures is phenomenal, and I definitely want to see that become more. But just a warning to all of you as well. You might not be on the board anymore, but that doesn't mean we're going to leave you alone, and we'll still hit you up to see how you can volunteer. So you can never truly escape. And that's a good thing. Okay. Let's see here. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we wrap up tonight? All right. In that case, everyone please stay nice and warm. It is definitely, I think we're just skipping right over fall, going right for winter. So if you haven't turned your heat on yet, like me, good luck to you. If you have, I hope you're nice and cozy. We'll see everyone next month, of course, at our special meeting, and I hope to see everyone as well at our potluck. So thank you for being here tonight, and see you all soon.
Thank you.
Night, folks.